Don't talk." The whisper was so soft it almost sounded like the air itself had spoken. But it was real. The billionaire froze at the entrance of his own living room, one hand still on the gold handle of the tall door, the other gripping his travel bag like it was the only thing keeping him standing. His maid, Bisi, stood beside him, her fingers wrapped tightly around his wrist. She was shaking, her eyes were wide, wet, and begging. "Sir," she breathed again, even quieter this time. "Please, don't talk." Inside the living room, the chandelier lights were on, bright and clean, just like always. The marble floor shined, the leather sofas looked perfect. The big TV was off, leaving the room oddly quiet, yet something in the air felt heavy, like the house was holding its breath. Then he heard his wife's voice. Not the sweet voice she used when she greeted him at the airport. Not the playful voice she used when she begged him for gifts. This voice was calm, careful, cold. "I told you," his wife said slowly, "he won't suspect anything." The billionaire's stomach twisted. That was Amaka's voice, his wife, the woman he had married 5 years ago, the woman he trusted with his name, his home, and every secret of his life. But she was speaking like someone else, like a stranger wearing her face. A man answered her, low and amused. "And if he comes back early?" Amaka chuckled, small, quiet, almost gentle. Then she said something that made the billionaire's heart slam so hard it hurt. "If he comes back early," Amaka paused like she was thinking about the best way to say it. "Then we make sure he never leaves again." The billionaire's eyes widened. He felt the blood drain from his face. Bisi tightened her grip on his wrist like she was afraid he might run forward and ruin everything. The billionaire leaned slightly, trying to see into the room without being seen. He could only catch part of it from where he stood. Just a corner of the living room. But what he saw was enough to make his body go cold. Amaka stood near the center table, wearing a simple silk robe, her hair neatly wrapped, her face relaxed like she was discussing ordinary things. Across from her, a man sat in the shadows of the sofa, his face hidden by the angle. Another figure stood near the bar area, moving slowly, quietly, like they knew the house well. On the glass table were things that did not belong in his home. A small brown bottle, a syringe, and a thick envelope stuffed with cash. The billionaire's mouth opened before his brain could stop it. "Amaka." Bisi slapped her palm softly over his mouth. Not hard, just enough to silence him. Her eyes begged him again, "Don't, not yet, not like this." The billionaire's breath turned shaky, his pulse beat loudly in his ears. He had traveled all day. He should have been tired. Instead, his whole body felt awake, alert, and terrified. Inside the living room, Amaka's voice continued. "I already switched the doctor," she said. "The one we have now is loyal." The man on the sofa let out a slow laugh. "That's good. Because if this billionaire man survives, we are finished." Amaka's tone remained calm. "He won't survive," she replied. The billionaire's throat tightened. His legs felt weak. He wanted to burst into the room and demand answers. He wanted to shout. He wanted to grab his wife and shake the truth out of her. But Bisi's hand still covered his mouth, and the fear in her eyes was stronger than any warning he had ever heard in his life. Bisi leaned close to his ear. Her lips barely moved. "Sir." "They did this before," she whispered. The billionaire's eyes jerked to her face. Before. His mind raced. Before what? Before someone died. Before someone disappeared. Before someone got hurt? He wanted to ask, but he couldn't. Because inside the living room, Amaka's voice became even softer. "Tonight," she said, "we finish it." The billionaire's knees almost gave out. He stared into the living room with burning eyes. His brain kept screaming the same thing. "This is not real. This cannot be real." But the brown bottle was real, the syringe was real, the money was real, and his wife's voice, cold and sure, was real. Bisi slowly removed her hand from his mouth, but she kept her finger pressed to her own lips. A silent command. He nodded quickly like a child. Now he understood. If he made one sound, they might turn. And if they turned, he didn't even want to imagine what they would do. Bisi carefully pulled him backward, one small step at a time, away from the living room entrance. The billionaire followed like he was sleepwalking, his mind spinning. His name was Chief Kelechi Okafor, one of the richest men in Nigeria. His face was on magazines. His companies were in Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt, even London. He had bodyguards, drivers, staff, security cameras. How could danger be standing inside his living room like that? How could his own wife be the one planning it? They reached the hallway corner. Bisi stopped and looked around quickly, making sure no one had seen them. Then she hurried him toward the side corridor where the guest bathroom and the small storage room were. She opened the storage room door with trembling hands. Inside were cleaning supplies, mops, buckets, and stacked cartons. It smelled like soap and bleach, a place no one important ever entered. Bisi gently pushed him inside and closed the door halfway, leaving a small crack so they could still see out. The billionaire stood among the cartons, breathing hard like he had run a race. Bisi leaned against the wall, hands shaking, eyes wet. "Bisi," the billionaire whispered, barely able to form the words. "What is going on?" Bisi swallowed painfully. "Sir, I have wanted to tell you for a long time." The billionaire stared at her. A long time. His head spun again. "How long?" he asked, voice breaking. Bisi wiped her face quickly, like she was afraid tears would slow her down. "Since the first year you married, madam," she whispered. The billionaire's eyes widened. That was 4 years ago. 4 years of smiles. 4 years of dinners. 4 years of sharing a bed with someone who, according to what he just heard, might be planning his end. His chest tightened like a rope was being pulled around it. What did she do?" he asked. Bisi's lips trembled. She looked down, then up again, like she was fighting shame and fear at the same time. She has been meeting people," Bisi said. "Men, strangers, sometimes at night. Sometimes when you travel, they come through the back gate." The billionaire's mind pictured it, and it made him feel sick. "Why didn't you tell me?" he whispered. Bisi's eyes filled again. "Sir, I tried," she said quickly, "but any time I tried, she would warn me. She would say if I talk, I will disappear." Disappear. That word hung in the air like smoke. The billionaire took a shaky breath. "Has anyone disappeared?" he asked. Bisi didn't answer at first. Her silence was the answer. The billionaire's heart pounded harder. "Bisi," he pressed, voice low but urgent. "Tell me." Bisi's voice came out thin. "The former driver," she whispered. "Mr. Tunda." The billionaire's face twisted. Tunda had worked for him before he married Amaka. Tunda had been loyal for years. Then one day, the man stopped coming. They said he traveled. They said he went back to his village. The billionaire had even sent money to look for him. Nobody found him. The billionaire's mouth went dry. "You're saying," his voice cracked, "she did something to him?" Bisi nodded once, very slowly. "I heard her on the phone," she whispered. "She said he saw too much." Then the next day, Mr. Tunda did not come again. The billionaire felt like the floor beneath him had moved. He leaned against a carton to steady himself. This was too big, too dark, too impossible. Yet it was happening inside his house. Right now. Bisi wiped her hands on her uniform like she couldn't stop shaking. "Sir," she whispered, "they are planning something for tonight. I heard them mention medicine, and money, and a doctor." The billionaire's eyes flashed. "A doctor," he repeated. Bisi nodded. "Yes, the man in the living room. He called Madam Chairman, like she is the one in charge. Chairman, Amaka, his wife, in charge of something evil." The billionaire's stomach turned again. He tried to think. He needed to call his head of security. He needed to call the police. He needed to... Then his phone vibrated in his pocket. The sound was small, but in the quiet storage room it felt loud. The billionaire's eyes dropped to his pocket in panic. He quickly pulled the phone out. The screen lit up brightly. Incoming call. Amaka, his wife, calling him. Right now. Bisi's eyes widened in terror. "Sir," she breathed, barely able to speak. "Do not answer." The billionaire stared at the screen. His thumb hovered over the green button. If he answered, she would know he was home. If he didn't answer, she might suspect something. His heart slammed hard in his chest. The phone kept vibrating. The ringtone threatened to fill the hallway. And through the small crack in the storage room door, the billionaire saw a shadow move down the corridor, slow steps coming closer, like someone had heard something and was walking to check. Bisi grabbed his wrist again and whispered, shaking, "Sir, someone is coming." The billionaire held his breath, staring at the glowing phone as the shadow grew larger outside the door. And the call from his wife kept ringing. The ringing stopped, not because the billionaire answered, but because the call ended on its own. Chief Kelechi Okafor stared at the dark screen of his phone like it had just bitten him. Bisi released a shaky breath she had been holding for too long. Her shoulders dropped slightly, but the fear on her face did not leave. Outside the storage room, the footsteps paused. One step, then another. Slow, careful. Someone was there. Chief Kelechi gently slid his phone into his pocket and pressed his back against the stacked cartons. His chest rose and fell so fast he was afraid the sound of his breathing would give him away. Bisi leaned closer to the door, her eyes fixed on the thin crack. Through it, they saw a shadow stop right in front of the storage room. The handle moved. Just a little. Bisi's heart nearly stopped. Then a voice spoke. "Bisi." It was a man's voice. Calm, curious, not loud, not angry, just checking. Chief Kelechi clenched his fists. Bisi swallowed and answered quickly, forcing her voice to sound normal. "Yes, sir?" The handle stopped moving. The man laughed softly. "What are you doing there?" Bisi glanced at Chief Kelechi, then back at the door. "I was arranging the cleaning supplies," she said. "Madam asked me to clean the guest bathroom later." There was a short silence. Chief Kelechi felt sweat slide down his neck. Finally, the man spoke again. "All right, don't be slow." The footsteps moved away, 1 step, 2 steps, then gone. The hallway became quiet again. Bisi sagged against the wall, her legs trembling so badly she had to sit on an empty bucket. Chief Kelechi covered his face with his hands. For a moment he couldn't breathe. That was close. Too close. When he finally lowered his hands, Bisi was staring at him with wide, worried eyes. "Sir," she whispered, "we cannot stay here." Chief Kelechi nodded slowly. She was right. If anyone came back, they would be trapped. He thought fast. His mind, trained for business meetings and sudden crises, kicked into survival mode. "Where is the back staircase?" he asked quietly. Bisi wiped her face and stood up. "There," she said, pointing toward the far end of the corridor. "But the camera near the kitchen is always on." The word camera hit him like a slap. Of course, his house was filled with cameras. He had installed them himself, but he had not checked them in months. "Who controls the cameras?" he asked. Bisi hesitated. "Madam," she said, "she changed the passwords 2 years ago. She said it was for privacy." His jaw tightened. Privacy. So that was how. Chief Kelechi closed his eyes briefly. Every smart move he thought he made had been used against him. "Is there any place without cameras?" he asked. Bisi nodded. "The old boys' quarters behind the generator house," she said. "The camera there stopped working last year. Madam never fixed it." That was their chance. Chief Kelechi took a deep breath. "Lead the way," he said. They stepped out of the storage room quietly. The corridor was empty. The lights glowed softly, pretending everything was normal. From the living room, voices drifted again. Laughter this time, relaxed, confident. The kind of laughter people make when they believe they are safe. Bisi moved first, walking calmly like she was just doing her job. Chief Kelechi followed a few steps behind her, his head lowered like a visitor who didn't want attention. They passed the guest bathroom, then the kitchen door. Inside the kitchen, 2 unfamiliar men were eating, standing by the counter, joking quietly. One of them glanced up. Chief Kelechi turned his face away immediately. Bisi didn't slow down. She pushed the back door open and stepped outside. The cool night air hit Chief Kelechi's face. He breathed it in like freedom. They crossed the small yard, passing flower pots and garden lights, and reached the old boys' quarters near the generator house. The building looked tired, paint peeling, windows dusty, a place everyone had forgotten. Bisi opened the door and led him inside. It was dark. She switched on a small bulb. The room was empty except for a wooden chair and a broken table. Chief Kelechi leaned against the wall, his legs finally giving in. He slid down and sat on the floor. For the first time since he arrived home, the shock hit him fully. "My wife," he said hoarsely, "Amaka, wants me dead." Bisi said nothing. She just stood there, hands folded, eyes full of pain. Chief Kelechi looked up at her. "How long have you lived with this?" he asked. Bisi's voice was quiet. "Too long, sir." He nodded slowly. "I'm sorry," he said. She blinked, surprised. "Sorry?" she repeated. "I should have listened," he said. "I should have seen the signs. I was always busy, always traveling, always trusting." Bisi looked away. "She is very careful," she said. "She is kind in public, gentle. People love her." Chief Kelechi laughed bitterly. "Yes," he said. "They call her Madam Angel at events." Silence filled the room again. Then Chief Kelechi straightened. "We need a plan," he said firmly. Bisi nodded. "Yes, sir." He stood up and paced slowly. "If I disappear tonight, she wins," he said. "If I confront her without proof, she will deny everything." Bisi's eyes widened. "She will cry," she said quickly. "She will act shocked. She will call people, powerful people." He nodded. "And then I will be the crazy husband," he finished. They both knew it was true. "She already controls the doctor," Bisi added softly. "And the guards. Some of them answer to her." Chief Kelechi stopped pacing. "Which guards?" he asked. Bisi named two, men he had trusted, men he had promoted. His chest tightened again. "How many people know?" he asked. "Enough," Bisi replied. "Enough to be dangerous." Chief Kelechi took out his phone again. This time he switched it to silent. "I need evidence," he said. "Something solid." Bisi hesitated, then she reached into her pocket. Her hand trembled as she pulled out a small old phone. "I have this," she said. Chief Kelechi stared. "What is it?" "Voice notes," she whispered. "I recorded some conversations, not everything, but enough." His eyes widened. "You recorded her?" Bisi nodded. "I was scared," she admitted. "But I knew one day I might need it." Chief Kelechi took the phone carefully, like it was fragile. "This could save my life," he said. Bisi swallowed. "Or end mine," she said quietly. He looked at her sharply. "No," he said firmly. "I will not let anything happen to you." Before she could reply, footsteps sounded outside. Both of them froze. The door handle rattled. Chief Kelechi's heart jumped. A familiar voice spoke from outside. "Bisi?" It was Amaka, his wife. Her voice sounded sweet, concerned, fake. Chief Kelechi held his breath. Bisi's face went pale. "Bisi," Amaka called again, knocking lightly. "Are you there?" Bisi looked at Chief Kelechi. Her eyes asked the question she couldn't say out loud. "What do I do?" Chief Kelechi thought fast. If Amaka saw Bisi alone, she might suspect nothing. But if she searched the room... He glanced around. There was nowhere to hide. The knock came again. Louder. "Bisi," Amaka said, her voice changing slightly. "Open the door." Bisi stepped forward slowly. Her hand hovered over the handle. Chief Kelechi pressed himself into the darkest corner of the room, holding his breath. Bisi opened the door. Amaka stood there in her silk robe, smiling softly. "There you are," Amaka said. "I was looking for you." Her eyes moved past Bisi, scanning the room. Chief Kelechi felt his heart slam hard as Amaka's gaze slowly traveled toward his corner. Her smile faded just a little. "Why is the light on here?" Amaka asked. Bisi opened her mouth to answer, but before she could speak, Amaka took one step inside the room, and her eyes locked onto Chief Kelechi's face. For a second, no one moved. Not Amaka. Not Bisi. Not Chief Kelechi Okafor. Time froze inside the small boy's quarters, as if the walls themselves were shocked by what they were seeing. Amaka's eyes were fixed on the dark corner. On him. Her husband. The man she believed was thousands of miles away. The billionaire who was supposed to be walking straight into the trap she had carefully prepared. The smile on her face did not disappear immediately. Instead, it stayed there, stiff and confused, like her mind needed time to catch up with her eyes. "Kelechi," she said softly. Her voice trembled, just a little. Chief Kelechi stepped forward into the light. Slowly, calmly, his heart was racing, but his face was steady. "Yes," he said. "It's me." Bisi gasped quietly behind Amaka. Amaka laughed, a short, nervous laugh. You came back early," she said. "Why didn't you call?" Chief Kelechi studied her face carefully. This was the woman he had shared his life with, the woman he trusted. Yet now everything about her felt strange. "I wanted to surprise you," he replied. Amaka's eyes flicked around the room again, then back to him. Her smile returned, brighter this time. Too bright. "You scared me," she said, placing a hand on her chest. "I thought I saw a ghost." Chief Kelechi said nothing. He just watched her, waiting. Amaka turned to Bisi. "Why are you here with my husband?" she asked lightly. "Isn't this where the cleaners keep old things?" Bisi's lips trembled. "Madam, I was just—" "Enough," Chief Kelechi said quietly. Amaka froze. She turned back to him. The tone of his voice had changed. It was not the gentle tone of a husband returning home. It was calm, controlled, dangerous. "Enough acting," he continued. "I heard you." Amaka blinked. "Heard me?" she repeated. "Yes," he said, "in the living room, with your guests." Her smile wavered. "Guests," she said, pretending to be confused. "What guests?" "The men," he said, "the money, the syringe, the bottle." The silence that followed was thick and heavy. Bisi held her breath. Amaka stared at Chief Kelechi for a long moment. Then she sighed. Slowly, like someone who had been caught after a long game. "Well," she said softly, "this is unfortunate." The change in her voice made Bisi shiver. The sweetness vanished. The warmth disappeared. In its place was something sharp, cold, real. "So you heard," Amaka said. Chief Kelechi's chest tightened. "You were planning to kill me," he said. Amaka shrugged. "Business is business," Bisi gasped. Chief Kelechi felt like the ground had dropped beneath him. "Business?" he repeated. "I am your husband." Amaka laughed again. This time there was no fear in it. "No," she said, "you were my opportunity." Chief Kelechi stared at her. "Everything I have," she continued calmly, "comes from your name, your money, your companies. Once you're gone, I keep it all." Bisi's legs shook. How can you say that?" Chief Kelechi asked. Amaka crossed her arms. "Because love does not pay," she said. "Power does." The words stabbed deeper than any knife. Chief Kelechi shook his head slowly. "I trusted you," he said. "I defended you. I built this life with you." "And I used it," Amaka replied without shame. "We both got what we wanted." Bisi burst into tears. "Madam, please," she cried. "Sir is good. He did nothing to you." Amaka turned sharply toward her. "Shut up," she snapped. Bisi flinched. Amaka looked back at Chief Kelechi. "You see," she said, "this is why servants should know their place." Chief Kelechi stepped forward. "Leave her out of this," he said. Amaka tilted her head. "Or what?" she asked. "You'll report me?" Her lips curved into a smile. "Who will believe you?" Before he could answer, she raised her voice. "Guards!" Bisi screamed. "No!" Footsteps thundered outside, heavy, fast. The door burst open. 2 armed guards rushed in. The same guards Bisi had warned him about. They froze when they saw Chief Kelechi. Shock flashed across their faces. "Sir," one of them said, "you're back?" Amaka stepped forward quickly. "Yes, he is," she said smoothly, "and he is very tired." She turned to Chief Kelechi. "You shouldn't have come home early," she said softly. "Now things have to change." She faced the guards. "Escort my husband to his bedroom," she ordered. "He collapsed from stress. Call the doctor." Chief Kelechi's heart skipped. The doctor, the one she controlled. "This is madness," he said. "Let me go." Amaka smiled sadly. "I can't," she said. "You know too much." The guards hesitated. "She's lying," Bisi cried. "She wants to kill him." One guard raised his gun slightly. "Silence," he barked at Bisi. Chief Kelechi looked at the guards. "These men answer to me," he said firmly. "I pay you." Amaka laughed. "You used to," she corrected. "I increased their pay." The guards exchanged uneasy looks. Money, power, fear. Chief Kelechi saw it clearly now. This was bigger than he imagined. Amaka stepped closer to him. Her voice dropped to a whisper only he could hear. "You should have stayed on that plane," she said. "Now you will die quietly." Bisi screamed again and ran toward Chief Kelechi. One guard grabbed her and pushed her back. "Leave her," Chief Kelechi shouted. Amaka's eyes hardened. "Take him," she ordered. The guards moved. Strong hands grabbed Chief Kelechi's arms. He struggled, but they were trained. He was dragged toward the door. Bisi cried his name, fighting the guard holding her. "Sir, sir!" Chief Kelechi twisted his head back. "Bisi," he shouted, "the phone, the recordings." Amaka's eyes widened. "What recordings?" she demanded sharply. Bisi froze. Chief Kelechi's heart sank. He had said too much. Amaka's gaze snapped to Bisi, slowly, dangerously. "What did you record?" she asked. Bisi's lips trembled, but she said nothing. Amaka smiled. "Oh," she said softly. "This just got interesting." She turned to the guards. "Lock her in," she said. "I will deal with her later." Bisi screamed as she was dragged away. Chief Kelechi was pulled down the hallway toward the main house. His heart pounded. His wife was in full control. His only ally was gone. And as they dragged him toward his bedroom, he saw the doctor's car pulling into the compound through the window. The doctor Amaka trusted. The door to his bedroom opened. The guards pushed him inside. Amaka followed, closing the door behind her. The lock clicked, and she smiled. "Good night, my husband," she said softly. The door closed with a soft click. That sound, small and gentle, felt louder than thunder in Chief Kelechi's ears. The bedroom lights were on, too bright. The large bed stood neatly made, white sheets smooth and perfect, like nothing evil had ever touched them. The curtains were open, showing the quiet compound outside, the same compound where his wife was now in control. Amaka stood with her back against the door. She crossed her arms slowly. For the first time, she looked at him without pretending. No smile, no softness, only power. "You should sit," she said calmly. Chief Kelechi remained standing. His chest rose and fell fast, but his eyes never left her face. "So this is how you planned it," he said. "In our bedroom." She shrugged. "It's poetic," she replied. "This is where everything began." Footsteps sounded outside. The guards. Then another set of footsteps, lighter, careful. The doctor. A knock came at the door. "Yes?" Amaka called sweetly. The door opened. A man in a white coat stepped inside, carrying a small black bag. He was middle-aged, neat, calm. "Madam," he said respectfully. Then he turned and saw Chief Kelechi. His eyes widened slightly. "Oh," the doctor said. "Sir, you're back." "Yes," Chief Kelechi said coldly, "and I'm very interested in what you're doing here." The doctor glanced at Amaka. She smiled and stepped closer to him. "My husband collapsed earlier," she said smoothly. "Too much stress. He's been overworking himself." She placed a gentle hand on Chief Kelechi's arm. He wanted to pull away, but he stayed still. "He needs something to help him sleep," she continued. "Something strong." The doctor nodded. "Of course," he said. "I'll prepare it." He opened his bag and brought out a small vial and a syringe. Chief Kelechi's heart slammed hard. "This is murder," he said. "You know that." The doctor hesitated. "Madam said—" "Madam is lying," Chief Kelechi snapped. "She is planning to kill me." The doctor looked uncomfortable. "Sir," he said, lowering his voice, "your wife is very convincing." Amaka laughed softly. "And very generous," she added. The doctor avoided Chief Kelechi's eyes. "I'm just doing my job," he said. Chief Kelechi felt anger burn through him. "Your job is to save lives," he said. "Not end them." The doctor swallowed. Amaka's smile faded. "Doctor," she said sharply, "do what you came to do." The doctor moved closer with the syringe. Chief Kelechi stepped back. The guards entered the room again. "Hold him," Amaka ordered. They grabbed his arms, strong, firm. He struggled, but it was useless. "Amaka," he shouted, "look at me. This will not end well." She stared at him. "This ends tonight," she said. "I have waited long enough." The doctor raised the syringe. The needle glinted under the light. Chief Kelechi closed his eyes for a second, not in fear, in focus. Then he spoke. "Before you do this," he said calmly, "ask her about the recordings." Amaka froze. "What recordings?" the doctor asked. The guards paused. Amaka's eyes flashed. "Ignore him," she snapped. "He's confused." "No," Chief Kelechi said. "He's not confused. He's curious. And he should be." The doctor hesitated again. "Madam?" he asked. Amaka turned on Chief Kelechi. "You said too much already," she hissed. "Not enough," he replied. "Ask her why she changed the security passwords. Ask her about the former driver. Ask her why she needed silence." The doctor's face tightened. "Madam," he said slowly, "what is he talking about?" Amaka's calm cracked. "For heaven's sake," she snapped, "just inject him." At that moment, a loud scream echoed through the house. A woman's scream, sharp, terrified. Bisi, everyone froze. "What was that?" the doctor asked. Amaka turned toward the door, annoyed. "I told you to lock her in." She snapped at the guards. "She was locked," one guard replied nervously. Another scream followed. Then a crash, the sound of something breaking. Amaka's eyes widened slightly. "Stay here," she ordered the guards. "Doctor, finish this." She moved toward the door. Chief Kelechi seized the moment. "Doctor," he said urgently, "if she leaves this room, you may never leave this house alive." The doctor's hand shook. "What?" he whispered. "She kills loose ends," Chief Kelechi said. "Ask yourself, how many people know this secret?" The doctor's face went pale. Another scream echoed, closer this time, and a loud male voice shouted, "Open this door!" Amaka stopped. That voice was not supposed to be there. Her face hardened. "Who is that?" she demanded. Before anyone could answer, the bedroom door burst open. 3 men stormed in, armed, wearing plain clothes. Behind them stood a familiar face. Chief Kelechi's heart leaped. "Chuka!" he shouted. "Chuka!" His head of private security, the one man he trusted with his life. Amaka staggered back. "What is this?" she yelled. "How dare you enter my bedroom?" Chuka ignored her. His eyes were fixed on Chief Kelechi. "Sir," he said, voice tight, "are you okay?" "I will be," Chief Kelechi replied, "if you get me out of here." Chuka turned to the guards holding him. "Release him," he ordered. The guards hesitated. Amaka screamed, "Don't listen to him. I am your madam." Chuka raised his gun slightly. "I answer to Chief Kelechi Okafor," he said. "Always have." The guards slowly let go. Amaka's face twisted with rage. "You traitor," she spat. Chuka didn't blink. "Madam," he said, "we have evidence." Amaka laughed wildly. "Evidence?" she said. "From who?" "The maid?" Chuka nodded. "Yes," he said. "From the maid." Chief Kelechi's chest tightened. "Where is Bisi?" he asked quickly. Chuka's face darkened. "She escaped," he said. "Barely." Amaka's smile vanished. "What?" she whispered. "She recorded everything," Chuka continued, "and she sent it out." Amaka's eyes widened in horror. "Sent it where?" she shouted. Before Chuka could answer, Amaka grabbed the small bottle from the table and hurled it at the wall. It shattered, liquid splashed everywhere. "If I'm going down," she screamed, "I'm taking him with me." She lunged toward Chief Kelechi, and the doctor screamed. "Gun!" he yelled. Everything happened at once. A gunshot exploded, glass shattered. Amaka fell back, clutching her side. Chief Kelechi staggered forward. Smoke filled the room. And over the ringing in his ears, Chief Kelechi heard Chuka shout, "Sir, get down!" As more footsteps thundered into the house and alarms began to scream, Chief Kelechi realized one thing clearly. This was no longer just about survival, it was about exposure. And someone was still missing. Bisi. Wherever she was, she held the final truth. And the night was far from over. The room was filled with smoke. The sharp smell of chemicals burned Chief Kelechi's nose as alarms screamed through the mansion. Red lights flashed from the ceiling, turning the once beautiful bedroom into a scene from a nightmare. Amaka lay on the floor. Her silk robe was stained dark at the side. Her face, once calm, once powerful, was twisted with pain and disbelief. She stared at Chief Kelechi like she could not understand how the story had turned against her. "You," she whispered, "you were supposed to be dead." Chief Kelechi stood frozen. His heart was pounding so loudly he could barely hear anything else. Chuka moved fast. "Doctor, step back," he ordered. The doctor dropped the syringe immediately and raised his hands, shaking. "I didn't know it would get this far," the doctor said in panic. "She said it was just to make him sleep." Chuka didn't respond. Two of his men rushed to secure the room, kicking the syringe away and opening the windows to clear the smoke. Another gunshot echoed in the distance. Then voices. Police. Lots of them. The house was surrounded. Chief Kelechi slowly walked toward Amaka. Each step felt heavy. He looked down at the woman he once loved. The woman who shared his bed. The woman who planned his death like it was a business deal. "Why?" he asked quietly. Amaka laughed weakly. "You still don't understand," she said. "Men like you think love is enough." Her eyes burned with anger. "But I wanted more than your love. I wanted your world." Chief Kelechi shook his head. "You had it," he said. "I gave you everything." "No," she whispered. "You gave me permission. Power has to be taken." Sirens wailed outside. Footsteps filled the hallway. Uniformed officers rushed in, weapons raised. "Police, nobody move." Chuka raised his hands. "We're on your side," he said. "Chief Kelechi Okafor is the victim." The officers moved quickly, securing the guards who had earlier held Chief Kelechi. The doctor was handcuffed, crying and begging. Amaka tried to sit up. She winced in pain. Two officers moved toward her. "Madam Amaka Okafor," one of them said firmly, "you are under arrest for attempted murder, conspiracy, and multiple related crimes." Amaka laughed again, soft, broken. "You think this ends here?" she asked. "You think I worked alone?" Chief Kelechi's heart tightened. "What do you mean?" he asked. She turned her eyes to him one last time. "There are people," she whispered, "much bigger than me." Before anyone could respond, the medics rushed in and lifted her onto a stretcher. As they wheeled her out, her eyes never left Chief Kelechi. Not with love, not with regret, but with a promise. The bedroom fell silent. The danger was gone, but the fear remained. Chief Kelechi sank onto the edge of the bed, his strength finally leaving him. Chuka knelt in front of him. "Sir," he said gently, "you're safe now." Chief Kelechi nodded slowly. "Thanks to Bisi," he replied. Chuka exhaled. "She's alive," he said. "Barely." Chief Kelechi looked up sharply. "Where is she?" Chuka stood. "At the security post near the gate. She escaped through the generator house and triggered the emergency alert on your private system." Chief Kelechi's eyes filled with tears. "She saved my life," he whispered. They walked through the hallway together. The mansion looked different now. Not beautiful, not safe, just empty. At the security post, Chief Kelechi saw her. Bisi sat on a plastic chair, wrapped in a blanket. Her uniform was torn, her hands were bruised, but her eyes were strong. When she saw Chief Kelechi, she stood up immediately. "Sir," she cried. Chief Kelechi crossed the distance in seconds. He stopped in front of her, unsure what to do. Then he bowed his head slightly. "Thank you," he said. "You chose courage when silence was easier." Bisi shook her head, tears streaming. "I was scared," she admitted, "but I couldn't watch another person disappear." Chief Kelechi nodded. "You won't disappear," he said firmly. "Not anymore." Police officers approached. "Sir," one said, "we need your statement. There's a lot to unpack here." Chief Kelechi took a deep breath. "Yes," he said, "and I will tell everything." As dawn broke, news vans filled the street outside the mansion. By morning, the story was everywhere. Billionaire escapes death plot inside his home. Wife arrested. Maid's recording exposes. Years of secrets. The public was shocked. People argued. Some refused to believe it. Others finally understood. Inside a quiet police room, Chief Kelechi listened as Bisi's recordings played. Amaka's voice, clear, cold, confident. Every plan, every threat, every lie. When the final recording ended, the room went silent. The officer switched off the device. "This changes everything," he said. Chief Kelechi nodded. He felt older, wiser, and deeply broken. Later that day, he stood alone outside the mansion. The house that once felt like home now felt like a lie made of walls and glass. Chuka joined him. "What will you do now, sir?" he asked. Chief Kelechi looked at the sky. "For a long time," he said, "I thought danger lived outside my gates." He turned back to the house. But it was sleeping beside me. He exhaled slowly. "I will rebuild," he continued, "not just my life, but my trust. And this house, it will never be silent again." Chuka nodded. "And Bisi?" he asked. Chief Kelechi turned. "She's no longer invisible," he said. "She will never be again." As the sun fully rose over the mansion, Chief Kelechi understood one painful truth. Money could buy walls. Power could buy silence. But it was the quiet courage of a maid, one voice whispering, "Don't talk," that saved a billionaire's life. And though the night was over, the consequences of the truth had only just begun. If you like this story, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel for more interesting stories.